All right, so let's start off with EURGBP. And as always, we're going to analyze the market trends. So on the weekly, we have bearish, daily, we have bearish, and 4 hour, we have bearish as well. So that is a good sign that we would like to sell. And I do have here other indication that it's another ready to set go sell, but we still need to wait. All right, so on the daily time frame, as you guys can see here, the gray area is the strong support level. And then with the yellow area, we have another 4 hour support level that turns into resistance level. And I really hope so. And here's the reason why. So it did hit many, many times, but it rejected also many times, as you guys can see right here, right? But if we look further and zoom all the way in this kind of area, right? So what I'm hoping is that it's coming back up and it's going to reject this 4 hour resistance level. And then it's going to play around a little bit and then it may come down further. But if I'm wrong, then it might pull back up all the way around this area where the EMA level is, and then pushing back down again. Okay, so I really, really like it, and I really want to short this pair, but we still need to wait for many, many confirmation. Okay, so another thing that gives me a lot of confidence that I really want to short this pair probably this week, if it works out, um, the EMA. So the EMA aligns perfectly what is coming next because this EMA is literally trying to push the weekly candle that we have further down, right? But unfortunately, if we see on the history on the left-hand side, right, we see a rejection right here, another rejection right here, and this is the third rejection with a candle wick. So this one scares a little bit of me that it may push all the way back to the previous market structure. And yeah, but I would take a risk with a proper stop loss that this week might be the week that it's coming down. So if we're moving down further to the 4 hour time frame, so the 4 hour time frame looks pretty interesting. So I love looking on the left hand side, which is the story, right? The history. So the last market structure right here is the same as on the left. So I'm very, very concerned that it's going to push all the way up, finding the resistance level. And I really hope that the resistance level is going to hold and then reject to push further down. And at the same time, we have the EMA, which is coming very closer to the resistance level. This is why I have been placing my entry level around this area. Okay. Why around this area? Because there are three things. The first thing is because of the EMA, because it's very slowly moving to the resistance level. And then we have the resistance level right over here, right? It came down, reject. And then in this area, we also have here multiple rejection. So if this level comes back up right around this area, we might get a fake out liquidity grab, like give a big short push and then push it back down. So this is my idea to enter for a short around this area. And by the way, in order to set a proper stop loss, I highly recommend to put a stop loss right above the fully closed candle. But in order to make sure that I don't get any liquidity grab or a fake out, I prefer putting my stop loss right above the candle wick. Okay, in order to see a little bit clearer, to put the stop loss right around this area or this area, I prefer going into the daily time frame. So the daily time frame indicates that I should move it further up higher, right around this area. Okay, so that would be around my stop loss. All right, let's move on. GBP NZD, and GBP NZD is another, I don't want to say a promising and that I can predict 100% that it's going to the upside. there's a higher probability based on my pure analysis without any looking at the news and the fundamental. So on the weekly time frame, we have bearish, daily bullish, and the 4 hour is bullish as well. So if two bullish are literally along each other, so that's an indication that it wants to turn into a bullish trend. Okay, so what do we see here on the weekly time frame? On the weekly time frame, we do see actually a beautiful setup of a reverse head and shoulder. So I can show it to you right over here. So we have the shoulder down right here, right on the support level. And then we have the head, and then we got another shoulder, and it literally lands back to the support level. And now it really wants to try to come back up. So is it actually a head and shoulder? So this one needs to be actually aligned with the other points, but it didn't, right? But it does still look like a head and shoulder to me. It's a very ugly one, so we need to wait, okay? So another indication of the last 2 weeks, because this beautiful doji, it's literally inside in the support level. So it doesn't really want to go further down. Okay, so as you guys can see here, so many candle wicks in the past weeks. Here's a wick, here's a wick, and here's another wick as well, right? So the last week, we have another doji. So it really wanted to come down, but it did not. So in my experience, it really wants to push further up. Okay, so these are the indications for the weekly time frame that tells me it wants to go up. So if we look at on the daily time frame right here, it looks so far much different, right? But I can see that big head and shoulder. We have the shoulder, we do have the head, and then we have another shoulder, and boom. So it looks actually the same as for the weekly time frame, that this point on the left shoulder is not aligned with the other points, right? So right here, there was a beautiful shift of structure. So it came down, went into the bearish trend, and here's the shift of structure that turns into a bullish trend. And as you guys can see here, it did break the resistance level. It came back up, it retested, came back up, and then it broke again. So this is another beautiful shift of structure that it still wants to go further up. And what do we see here? It literally break and then retest, and then we have another doji. Okay, so it tells me again right on the support level that it wants to go back up. And the 4 hour time frame, it is, I don't know, for you maybe it looks so confusing and so ugly, but it looks beautiful to me because it was hitting multiple times on the resistance level. It did break, right, retest, came back up, failed, which I concerned actually, and then came back down. And then we had this kind of doji that it holds up on the support level again. And then we see here the blue line EMA that is holding up as well. So it really wants to push further up. But the only thing that concerns me is this market structure. Usually we need to create a higher high and not a lower high. All right. But overall of the 4 hour time frame, it is still a bullish trend because this was the last higher low and here's the last higher high. Okay, as long as we are inside in the higher low and higher high, it is still considered as a bullish trend. Okay, and we're still on the support level and we still have the EMA level. Okay, so my entry level. So I would like to buy around this area. Okay, so I still need to see what's up with Monday, right? So for the 2 hour and the 1 hour time frame, I have to analyze as well. So if I see building up another shift of structure, or it's going to go further down and then pushing back up, and creating a beautiful bullish engulfing candle, then I would like to buy. Actually, I do have many TP take profit. So the first take profit on the 4 hour time frame is aligned with this structure, with this price action over here, and the last one right all the way up. Okay, so we're going to get a 124, 124.5 rewards. So where do I place the stop loss? Okay, this is a good question. Usually the stop loss would be that long. Okay, placing it all the way down on the last market structure. But this is way too much. It's like almost 50. Okay, so what I'm hoping is that it's going to push further down. Okay, it's going to push further down, giving me a double bottom, going back up, and creating a new shift of structure, which is the bullish trend and not the bearish trend. And then around this area, I would like to buy. And also, I can place my stop loss right underneath of the double top or the next market structure. Okay, so this is my game plan, and I really hope it's going to go into my direction. All right, so let's go for EURCAD. So the market structure is bearish because the weekly is bearish, the daily is bearish, and the 4 hour is bearish as well. Okay, so literally the last candle is right under the support level. So it did actually break and now turned, I hope so, keep turning into a resistance level. So on the weekly time frame, it looks beautiful-ish. And I do feel like that it really wants to go further down because we do see the blue EMA, right? And now it's kind of like going above of the candle and would like to push further down. And if we look on the daily time frame, so on the daily time frame, it looks beautiful too because this one was the support level and this candle, right, did break. It came on the next candle of the daily time frame, it came up and it rejected. So it means that the seller would like to push further down, 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 right? And not going up, 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 up. But sometimes you need to be careful. Just because the sellers were trying to push the buyers further down, it doesn't mean anything that it will pushing further down because you guys can see it right here. We have a beautiful wick, right? And it did fill up. We have a beautiful wick and it did fill up. So just be careful. So if we look at on the 4 hour time frame, we actually have here a beautiful market structure. Okay, so we do have the lower high, the lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, and then maybe on the market opening, maybe it's going to push down, creating a new lower low, and then maybe creating a new lower high, and then I'm going to sell. Okay, so this is my idea. Technically, I could literally sell on the market opening. Okay, but Monday is a day that it is going to get marinated, which means like getting ready for a new setup in order to take a trade. Okay, so this is my idea. It may push further down and people are buying, and then it is coming back up and then pushing further down. So this is my idea. Okay, so because we are literally inside in the resistance level, but if you see on the psychological level, which is 59500, it is literally right above and it did broke. Okay, it did retest actually. Yes, so this is my game plan. And if you guys have any questions about these forex currency pairs or any other questions, please comment down below. And as always, you execute, you gain, you succeed. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.